Championship Saturday. New teams, new conferences, fresh matchups. The first ever meeting in the Big 12 between Iowa State and Arizona State will be for a playoff spot. Arizona State picked to finish dead last in the conference, can win the title, and the Cyclones haven't won a league since 1912. In the Big 10, the nation's only undefeated team, #1 Oregon, one of two top 5 matchups on the day, taking on Penn State. A bye in the playoff awaits the winner and a home game, the consolation prize for the loser. Perhaps the most drama will come tonight in the ACC. Another team, first year in the conference, SMU, taking on the standard bearer in the ACC. Clemson has been in 10 of these 20 ACC championship games, and they are going for their 9th straight win on this stage. Does SMU have to win to get into the playoff? And here in Atlanta, another top 5 matchup. Texas trying to claim the conference title in their first year in the SEC against the Georgia Bulldogs in their home state. But these old hairy dogs have had a star-crossed history on this stage. Championship Saturday, playoff spots to claim, and we are here where they'll decide the national title in just over a month to get you rolling. But we have business to attend to first. One of the great stages in all of college football, the SEC championship game, yet another top 5 matchup. Texas in his first year in the league. They've already gotten throttled at home by those hairy dogs. Here to try to get a little revenge on this championship Saturday. A day that is filled with top 5 matchups, 2 more in a record-setting year, and first-time meetings between teams as well. Glad to have you with us. SEC fanfare inside the Georgia World Congress Center, where the crowd is going to grow over the course of the morning. Rece Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard, the king of the SEC championship game, Nick Saban, who has dominated this event like no other coach, and Pat McAfee here to experience it again.
Rece, it is an absolute honor to be here. Doesn't it feel like just yesterday, 15 weeks ago, we were in Dublin. Some of us were hammering 20 to 30 Guinnesses, and we didn't know what this season was going to look like. It's been on a winding road, transfer portal, NIL, conference realignment, and here we are. Ticket punching Saturday. 4 more teams are going to punch their tickets into the 12-team playoffs. And down here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, these Bulldogs are trying to reclaim their dominance after a tumultuous season. The dogs are barking, but don't look now. There's a big-ass Longhorn coming into town out of the Big 12, trying to become the new king of the SEC. Now, is it going to be or is it going to be bah? Dogs all day. We shall see. I think the thing I love about today, you got banners, you got rings, you got stories forever, all your off-season training, every single weight that you lifted, hill that you ran, sprint that you took, vomit that poured out of your soul because you were giving your all. Today, you can win your first championship of the season. Now, everybody wants a natty, but who gets the conference championship? And down here in the SEC, I get a chance to sit next to good old St. Nick. Okay? This guy's been in 12 SEC championships. He's won 11 of them. Both of these teams are thanking the heaven above that he retired, and it's a new world. It's a new time, and today's a massive day, and it's an honor to be a part of.
You know, especially Georgia, because Georgia's 4-7 in this game.
Really?
6 of the losses his fault.
Oh.
They're glad he's not there. By the way, our good friend Lee Corso had a minor procedure this week. He's doing great. Look forward to getting Lee back during the postseason. Know he's watching right now, and he'll be with us throughout the day.
So he's not St. Nick at all to Georgia. This guy's the big old Grinch for this thing?
He's a Grinch to Georgia.
Retired.
Got a couple of top 5 matchups, including in the Big 10, Oregon and Penn State in Indianapolis, Kirk.
Indianapolis, Rece helps me out with my Saturday slate because I'm busy, and this is from the Big 10 championship. He's got the duck in the river in Indy. I love it. By the way, Tez Johnson back. This will be a big factor because they love to get the ball in space. Penn State's defense has got to do a good job applying pressure. Abdul Carter, Big 10 Defensive Player of the Year. And, of course, the big fella, can we get him the football? Tyler Warren could be the difference if Penn State hangs around.
Big 12, 1-team bid into the 12-team playoffs. Iowa State has won 3 straight, including a big win last week against Kansas State to get in here. One of the stories of this Iowa State team is that Coach Campbell was able to rally after 2 losses. And they kind of got dropped off the world. Rocco Beck taking on Scatterboo from Arizona State. Big one in the Big 12 to punch their ticket to the tourney.
Yes, sir. Clemson and SMU. Now, we know that Cade Klubnik can run the ball extremely well, but will he be able to make a throw late in the game? Last week, INT sealed the victory for South Carolina. Barrett Carter and the Tigers defense, though, one of the best defenses in the country, but they're going to face Brashard Smith, who's just a weapon for the Mustangs. And Kevin Jennings, guys, second on the team in rushing, completing 68% of his passes, 19 touchdown passes on the season. This may be the game of the day.
Georgia and Texas in the regular season meeting. Jalen Walker and that defensive front dominated. Texas said, hey, let's try Arch Manning. That didn't work. 7 sacks, 4 turnovers. Their pressure rate twice what Texas usually allows. But this Texas defense, Michael Taft in the back end, Anthony Hill all over the place. They hold teams to under 12 points per game. So here's the rematch for the SEC championship. Who in the world would have ever seen this coming or predicted it?
How about Coach Saban? Who you got?
Well, I think Georgia and Texas. I really like Texas. I think Georgia's got a really good team. But I think Texas, if their defense comes through and they can replace some of the interior people that they lost that were high draft picks and all that, they're really good offensively.
Almost 5 months ago, right out of the gate, you've got this broadcasting thing down pat. Making picks, which you love.
Well, you know, I just kind of watched the spring games from, last spring, and Texas had the most depth, the best roster, and so did Georgia. They had the best quarterbacks. I think they have 2 of the best coaches in the country. But I do think that it's hard to beat the same team twice, so this matchup is going to be interesting. Now, I would always rather be the team that lost the first time, because revenge should not be a factor in motivation, but we all know that it is.
Yeah.
But you also have the opportunity to create solutions for all the problems that you had in the first game. Like when we played LSU in 2011, we missed 5 field goals. So I just said, when we play them in the championship game, we're not kicking a field goal unless we get inside the 20-yard line. So, I mean, you do have a chance to make adjustments, and I think both these coaches will do a good job of that today.
Yeah, and I think the SEC championship is obviously a glorious one. There is a palpable buzz in the air down here in Atlanta. Let's go up to Indianapolis, Indiana, beautiful town, Lucas Oil Stadium, the Loud House. Big Ten championship game. Oregon has been the most dominant team across the country all season. They get the #1 seed in the middle of the season. They have to travel out to Purdue. Purdue has been terrible this year. Are they going to have a letdown game like everybody seemingly had? Nah. They beat the brakes off of them. This Oregon team has been able to show up and get job done every single time they've been tasked with. Penn State finds himself in a Big Ten championship. Yeah. They beat Oregon. They might be the #1 team in the country when just a few weeks ago they still couldn't win a big game. So the Big Ten championship, obviously massive implications, but a massive scene set for Oregon coming into the Big Ten.
Yeah, I was happy about that victory last week because the super dog implications.
Hey, don't bring that up. That was just a bonus.
Yeah,
Nothing more than a bonus.
Guys, talk about this ACC game. Let's go off the field for a minute. I look at it like it's the anti-transfer portal against pro-transfer portal. If you know anything about Dabo Swinney, Clemson's head coach, he does not believe in the transfer portal. He believes in recruiting players, bringing them on campus, developing them, and then going out and playing with his guys. Rhett Lashley, though, he has like 22 transfer guys on his team. So I'm thinking if SMU, first year in the conference, if they win the ACC, I think some of those Clemson Tiger fans may start looking at Dabo like, you may want to start dipping in that portal. So anti-portal versus pro-portal, the ACC championship
Yeah,
game.
and so much the implications of that one. If Clemson wins, that creates potential chaos and drama.
Yeah.
I found it interesting in this kind of this era of realignment. These teams that are bouncing to new conferences. Army in the American won their first conference championship, I think, in 134 years last
USA,
night. First year in the American. We have SMU, who first year in the ACC. They're in a conference championship game. Big 12, we got Arizona State, first year in the Big 12. Here we are, Texas in the first year, obviously, in the SEC, Oregon in the Big 10. All these teams, first year, big opportunities to win a conference championship.
Most of those teams are favorites, too, to win.
Yeah,
first year
that would be something if you wind up with all of these automatic bids and they're all teams in their first year in their conference. By the way, I rarely disagree with you. You say it's hard to get the revenge. In the SEC championship game, when there have been rematches, team that won the regular season match, 5-2. And one of the only 2 coaches to avenge a regular season loss was you.
St. Nick.
Kirby Smart is the other one.
Oh, good coaches.
We have Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian joining us just a little bit later on College Game Day. Also today, Jackson State taking on Southern. SWAC championship game. The winner gets a spot in the Cricket Celebration Bowl on December 14th. Montana and South Dakota State. That's a rematch of last year's FCS National Championship game. And Ferris State and Harding, they've been the 2 dominant programs in Division II. They'll square off in the Division II playoffs today.